till we went. Thank you. Welcome to the ordinary council meeting, Muswell Shire Council being held in the Memorial Hall, Denman, Ogilvy Street, New South Wales, Tuesday, 28 July 2026. I declare the meeting open at 5:05 p.m. Please note the meeting will be recorded, is being recorded and will be made available on the council's website. We have one application for attendance via audio visual link for Councillor McNeil. So I want to move that way. Councillor Barry and Councillor Bailey. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Thank you. Acknowledgement of country. Be read by Councillor Hartley.
Thank you. Muswellbrook Shire Council is proud to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we work and live. We pay our respects to First Nations leaders and elders, past, present and emerging, who are the keepers of history, traditions, knowledge and culture. We commit to working in collaboration with traditional owners in a spirit of reconciliation and partnership. As we meet today, let us reflect on the knowledge and stories that have been shared on this land for thousands of generations and commit to walking together in a spirit of respect and understanding.
Cheers. Councillor Dunn, the civic prayer.
Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in this shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility and of the needs of those we serve, we may promote the true welfare of your people. Exercise wisely and faithfully the authority committed to us and advance the common good. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Apologies and applications for leave of absence. We have two, one from Councillor Douglas and one from Councillor Skull. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Dunn, Councillor Mahajan, all those in favour? None against. Declare that carried. Confirmation of minutes. So the ordinary council meeting on 23 June and the extraordinary council meeting on the 14 July. Recommendation to business paper. You have a copy of those minutes. So the recommendation is that the minutes be taken as read and confirmed as a true record. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Morris, Councillor Barry, all those in favour? None against. Declare that carried. Thank you. Disclosures of any pecuniary and non-pecuniary interest. Starting on my left, Councillor Ward.
Barbie. Horses. Building. Heritage. Yeah, heritage. Heritage.
1.33. 1.33. Thank you. Councillor Dunn. Awesome. Councillor Mahajan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one. Item 9.1.1, year 20249 Childcare Center. This related property is by me and my wife.
Thank you. Zero. Thank you. Councillor Barrett. Councillor Morris. Councillor Hartley.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. 9.1.1 DA 2024-9 Childcare Centre, 38 Maitland Street, Muswellbrook. Significant non-pecuniary interest. One of the neighbours to the property who submitted a submission is a close work colleague that I work alongside.
Bailey. I have one myself in the community and economy. It's a community and economy grant for the McCulley's Gap Hall. I'm a member of that hall. Item 9.4.1, declare an interest in that application. Thank you. There is no mayoral minute. Business arising. Nothing rose. There's no business arising. We'll move straight into our business. 9.4. So we'll move now. We'll have to ask the two councillors. Oh, sorry, I apologise before you go. I've missed a section in this business paper. We have questions from the previous meeting. No business right up to the minute. Questions from the previous meeting. So there's a recommendation in the business paper. Someone want to move that way? Someone want to move that? Councillor Morris, Councillor Marshall, Councillor Morris, wish to speak?
No, thank you.
Councillor Marshall? Anyone wish to speak? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. Now we move into the business of this evening. Two councillors want to. Excuse me for a minute. We'll get through this recommendation. So, Planning and Environment 911, it's the development application 2024-9, Childcare Centre, 38 Maitland Street, Muswellbrook. So the recommendation in the business paper is that council refuses development application 2024-9, demolition of existing dwellings and construction of an 85-place childcare centre at 36 to 38 Maitland Street, Muswellbrook, Lot 7 DP 1098460 and Lot 8 DP 6758 for the following reasons, and they're in dot points. Pursuant to section 4151A1 of the Environmental Planning Act 1979, the proposed development would be incompatible with the aims of the state environmental planning policy, transport and infrastructure in relation to meeting the requirements of the National Quality Framework for Early Education and Care Services and of the corresponding regime for state-regulated education and care services. And pursuant to section 4151A1 of the Environmental Planning Act 79, proposed development would be incompatible with R1 general residential zone objectives in relation to flood risk for the area. Also, pursuant to section 4151A1 of the Environmental Planning Act 1979, the proposed development would be incompatible with clause 522 of the Muswellbrook Local Environmental Plan 2009 in relation to safe flood evacuation. Further, pursuant to section 4151A3 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, the proposed development would be incompatible with the objectives of chapter 13, floodplain management of Muswellbrook Development Control Plan. Pursuant to section 4151C of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, the site attributes are unsuitable for the proposed development as the site and access routes to and from the site are wholly within the 1% AEP flood extent. Pursuant to section 4.15E of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, proposed development is considered not to be compatible with the public interest, with public interest on the following grounds: that vehicular and pedestrian access is through a high hazard category flood area during a 1% AEP flood event, and also that the bulk, scale and height of the building necessary to achieve a flood-free building will have an unacceptable impact on adjoining residential properties. That is that recommendation put in front of you. Someone want to move? Someone want to move that way? Councillor Ward, have I a seconder? Councillor Morris, Councillor Ward, you wish to speak?
Children's Centre, Maitland, Third Street, Muswellbrook, Damon. Yeah.
Flood waters. Thank you. We had seconded Councillor Morris. Councillor Morris.
Thank you. I'd actually like to speak against the officer's recommendation, understanding, of course, that it is a situation where it is a flood-prone area. However, I think the timing of the flood waters rising doesn't pose a significant danger. I think there's going to be ample time, even if you take away the potential modern systems that we have in place for that, like the Bureau of Meteorology and the new warning system that's now installed in Muswell Creek. If all of those failed, you can see quite easily that the waters are rising, and people are going to talk. People are going to say there's a problem. You're going to see that it's especially if it's a one in, what are they calling it, a 2% AEP or a 1% AEP, you're simply going to know. And when you do, there's going to be ample time, in my opinion,
ample time to evacuate the premises to a safe location. Difficult one, this one. But again, for those reasons, I would like to speak against the officer's recommendation.
Thanks, Councillor Morris. Any further comment or questions from councillors? Councillor Bowden.
Given the current updated 85 children position given on the 9th of July, I believe it was, by the planning of the current application. I believe that I would also like to move against for that simple reason that I believe that with the lesser children now and that lesser children hasn't been taken into account with the flood risk because it seemed not to need to, that therefore there is that somewhat lower risk. And the only issue, it's sort of that 85 children takes out issues, and also the fact that the traffic isn't turning straight off that main road. They're going to off-road, and then that takes away the issue that we've had with other similar developments that we've had in town that we haven't been able to prove. So thank you.
Bailey, any Councillor Marshall?
Yeah, I also would like to speak against the recommendation, as I feel that the for that property to flow, the river has to be built up, and then that river, then Muscle Creek has to build up to the property. So you have anywhere up to 8-10 hours for that to happen. I know there's species we talk about Bell Street flooding in 2007 or whatever it was, or whatever. That was due to logs getting caught under the bridge and down the creek a bit further. So yeah, I'll be speaking.
Thanks, Councillor Marshall. Any further questions on the matter?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, I'd like to ask a question, if that's okay.
Yes.
I'd like to ask council if they can give an assurance to councillors that the flood management plan that's proposed will be enforceable for the life of the centre, and that there will be monitoring during the life of the centre that such a plan is in place, practiced and current.
Mr Mayor, councillors, if councillors have a mind to approve this, you will need to delegate to the General Manager to come up with conditions of consent for the approval. We could create a condition of consent that requires the site to have a flood management plan, an evacuation plan. That plan would then be required for as long as the centre is used as a childcare centre. We could also include in that condition of consent that the flood plan must be available for council staff to inspect at any time with a month's notice. So we could do random audits. I don't know how often that would be as a condition of consent.
Thanks, Councillor. Let me just answer some more questions. Good. Yes. If a question to staff is that it says, where it says in the GHD report that GHD is not independently verified or checked effectively anything, they're just relying on the fact that that's what they've been given. They haven't gone outside that information they've been given. Am I reading that right? So they haven't gone and verified or checked any of the information that's been provided for them. They've just accepted that as fact.
That's correct, Mr Mayor. We provided them with a copy of the most recent flood study that council had, plus a copy of the application, and their assessment is based on what they've had before them. They haven't done any independent flood studies or an independent review of the evacuation route. They've just commented on the evacuation process that was described.
Okay, thank you. We've got a mover and a seconder. The mover was Councillor Ward, the seconder. Seconder, Councillor Morris. Are you prepared to accept, Councillor Ward, an addition? So, I don't know how many points we've got. I have to work out what point number it is. There was a lot. It took me 10 minutes to read. And a further dot point, that if it was approved, it could be conditioned. If it was approved, it would be on the condition that a suitable evacuation. I might get some help here from the Director of Planning.
So, sorry, Mr Mayor, councillors, the recommendation at the moment is for refusal. If you wish to approve it, you would need to approve it and delegate to the General Manager the preparation of conditions of consent to address the concerns of councillors about flood evacuation.
I'll foreshadow a motion. If it gets defeated, I foreshadow a motion. And I won't go through what the Director of Planning just said. I foreshadow a motion that approval will be with the conditions about an evacuation plan if the motion gets defeated. If the motion succeeds, the approval falls and we don't need to do anything further. Any further questions? Do we have a mover and a seconder? This is for to approve this. So again, if it doesn't get approved, sorry, this is for, confusing myself. This is for refusal. So if this motion gets supported, we don't need to go any further. All those in favour? All those against? I declare the motion lost. I'll now put the motion that the application 911 DA 2024. Can you write this fast? The 911 childcare centre, 38 Maitland Street, be approved with conditions that the Director of Planning is about to help me with the condition that an appropriate evacuation plan be developed, and that evacuation plan be able to be audited. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Audited by council with a minimum of 1 month's notice.
I'd also ask to add the wording "and other safety plans" to that.
I'll ask for some advice.
Mr Mayor, councillors, when it comes to preparing conditions of consent, we will have a range of standard conditions that will go from everything to site waste disposal, parking, stormwater management, and, as you say, other safety management plans. The requirements under legislation for childcare centres requires them to deal with things like fire evacuation plans and training of staff. So that is actually another part of the regulation they have to comply with to run a childcare centre and to get their childcare centre licence.
So that wouldn't be something we need to put in a motion. That's something that has to happen regardless.
That's correct, and I just think it's safer to delegate to the General Manager appropriate condition and other appropriate conditions of consent, so staff can just pick up everything.
That's it. So that's it.
Yeah.
If that contains so an appropriate or an agreed evacuation plan. They're going to have, well, no, it doesn't have to be agreed. An appropriate evacuation plan
And other appropriate.
and other appropriate conditions.
Yeah.
Is appropriate the right word?
Yes.
And delegation to, that's 1, 2, delegation be given to the General Manager to prepare those conditions. So I'll foreshadow. We move for that motion. Sorry, question? Oh, hang on, we're going to move it a second first. Councillor Marshall, seconder. Councillor Barry. Councillor Marshall, any comment?
No, thank you.
Councillor Barry. Councillor McNeil.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to move an additional part of that amendment or an additional amendment where the management plan, the flood management evacuation plan or management plan is audited by council every 6 months.
Now, what we said was it can be audited by council with a minimum of 1 month's notice, not 6.
Yeah, but that doesn't, the condition doesn't stipulate the frequency of that auditing.
Well, that can be something, certainly we'll take that on note. That can be something that the general manager, will ask the general manager to go away. Now it's minuted, and it will go away and develop with the rest of the conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kev. Okay, any further questions? If there's not, I'll read exactly what it is we're doing. I think Michelle doesn't think I can read her writing. I think Michelle is right.
I can read it better.
Appropriate evacuation plan. That's one. We're a bit behind on the tech tonight. We haven't got a screen to put it on, but
If this were a radio station, there'd be alarms going off everywhere.
why just not there for the longest council meeting too. Council Laura.
We did have one period like that for weeks.
I know, I've got alarms.
Thank you. So in relation to 911 DA 20249 Childcare Centre 38 Maitland Street, that an appropriate evacuation plan be provided and audited with a minimum of 1 month's notice, and 2, the general manager be delegated authority to prepare appropriate conditions of consent. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Morris, Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? Finished? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Councillors, we need to note this. Councillors Dunn and Councillors Dunn, Bailey and Ward. Against. I declare the motion carried. Someone's going to get the other two councillors.
Sorry, just to clarify, they were separate, though. We'd already voted that.
We already voted it down, and then we voted that got voted down, so it was,
It was an addition.
Approved.
well, it was for approval, but with those. That's all
Doesn't seem like the.
No, it gets confusing.
Yeah, it does.
It's confusing when you foreshadow motions. Consider it another motion. 912. Monthly report to council, planning, environment and regulatory services. The recommendation of the business paper is that the report be noted. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Mahajan, Councillor Hartley. Any comment? Councillor Mahajan, Councillor Hartley.
Thank you.
Any further comment from councillors?
Just one, and I'm sure it's just a typo, looking madly for it now. My apologies. Sorry, I should have been more prepared for this, made the note when I said I was going to.
It's all right, we're on Denman time. It's like PG time.
You're on the wrong one. Am I on the wrong one? Yeah. Oh, well, I'll wait for the next one.
Okay.
Sorry.
If there's no further, yeah, councillor Dunn.
Just in regards to parking in the CBD area, is there any chance that we could have the rangers going around and checking? Because I really believe there are cars.
Tomorrow afternoon, like every afternoon, I think.
Well, these dogs
Go.
are talking to. Can you hear us, councillor McNeil? You're still on. You've still got the sound on.
Oh, sorry, mate.
It sounded like you had a kelpie down next to you.
Don't yell at it.
Councillor Dunn.
Could we please have the rangers checking the parking in the CBD area? It feels really frustrating when cars are there parked for hours and we're not getting much of a turnover with other people coming in. I don't believe it's good for business. And I especially find it very frustrating when I need to go into Campbell's Corner. Thank you.
Any further questions? No further questions. I'll put that. All those in favour? Clear that unanimous and carried. 9.2 corporate services. 921. So it's a progress report for the 2025 to 2029 delivery program and 2025-2026 operational plan. The recommendation is that council notes the progress report of the 2025-2029 delivery program and the 2025-2026 operational plan. Have I a mover for that? So I want to move that. Councillor Ward, Councillor Dunn. Any comment?
Yeah. Overnet, trucks.
That's the operational plan you're talking about,
Yeah.
Councillor Wood?
EV strategy for heavy fleet. An EV strategy for heavy fleet. Have you been prepared? Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Yes, thank you. EV strategy being prepared.
Yeah, so Mr Mayor and councillors, staff have prepared a strategy that looks at the eventual conversion of our fleet, light fleet and the heavy fleet to EV. Our focus at the moment is on the light vehicle fleet because there are far more vehicles available. The heavy fleet, it's still early days for the availability of heavy plant and so forth, but I understand that our engineering team are looking on a regular basis at the availability of EV plant, and that certainly is part of our net zero roadmap, that we eventually will go to more electric vehicles if possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Ward. And council staff, council's manager works has recently been to some workshops at Fort Stevens in relation to heavy vehicle EV plant. The technology at the moment, as Sharon will let us know, is developing very rapidly, and it's the range that for rural councils that is concerned. Some metropolitan councils now engaging with EV heavy vehicles for their shorter routes.
Yeah.
But for us, it's about getting the technology so we can apply it to our heavy vehicles. It's something we really conscious of and working towards. And as the technology improves, we'll make sure we implement those through our heavy fleet. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Further questions, Councillor Dunn?
Just a comment. I would like to congratulate the staff on how much they have achieved in relation to the operation,
The what, sir?
the operational plan.
Councillor Morris.
Thank you, and forgive me for before. Page 204, the conduct the annual community satisfaction survey. Says it's 100% complete, yet it also says that the survey was not conducted, nor does it have an action code next to it.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. We'll have a look at that, Councillor Morris. From my memory of the action, because of the SRV, council decided, or council staff, sorry, decided that it was probably in the best interest of council and the community to extend the period and conduct in the first quarter or first half of 26-27. The other aspect of it not being completed, I'll look into that.
Because this suggests it's been completed.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for that.
Any further questions? Okay, I have a mover and a seconder. I'll put that. All those in favour? None against. Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 922, report on investments. As at 30 June 26, the recommendation in front of you is that council notes council's investments as at 30 June 2026. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Morris and Councillor Mahajan. Councillor Morris.
No, thank you.
Councillor Mahajan. Any questions? Being the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 9.3, infrastructure and property. So 931 is 8637 New England Highway acquisition of a lease. The recommendation in the business paper is that council endorses the recommendation in the report, and that one, council staff identify and advocate for key objectives to support the delivery of legacy outcomes, ensuring that opportunities for the site's long-term use beyond temporary workforce accommodation are appropriately considered and aligned with council's broader strategic planning objectives. And two, delegates authority to the general manager to execute the lease with energy code. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Morris and Councillor Marshall. Councillor Morris.
No, thank you.
Councillor Marshall.
Thank you.
Any questions? Councillor Ward.
Petrol station.
Yes, Councillor Ward, I can probably help. There is the reference to the legacy outcomes and the site's long-term use is a reference to a service centre, yes. Any further questions from councillors? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 932. 2026-27 general building capital program. The recommendation of the business paper is that council approves the 2026-2027 general building renewal program as provided in the report. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Dunn, Councillor Barry, Councillor Dunn.
No.
Councillor Barry. Any questions from any councillors? That being the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? That unanimous and carried. Thank you. 933, Denman and District Heritage Village, proposed stage 2. So the recommendation of the business paper in front of you is that council, one, as Crown Land Manager, provides owners consent for the proposed stage 2 of Denman and District Heritage Village, generally in accordance with the attached plans. 2, incorporates the planning of the Denman and District Heritage Village as part of the Denman Recreation Area Master Plan and Plan of Management. And 3, continues to work with the Denman and District Heritage Village Committee for clear demarcation of ownership and responsibilities of village assets. Councillor Barry without looking. Councillor Ward, I didn't have to look far there either. Councillor Barry.
Looking at the plan, looking at what they are planning to do with that area, knowing they need more room, knowing they need more space. This is just a complement to the buildings that are already there. And it's really nice to see them continuing to grow and develop, not just sitting.
I agree, Councillor. Councillor Ward, any comment? No comment, sorry. You're saying that because he's here, I don't think anyone will disagree with that, Councillor Ward. Any further questions?
Yeah, I would like to support it. Yeah, they do a great job, and what's already there is great. It only helps those volunteers and other people in that organisation to increase that area that they have to work with.
Certainly, it's an area that's or a facility that's starting to attract a lot of people to the town. Any further questions? That being the case, I'll put that. All those in favour? There we go. Supported unanimously. Declare that carried.
Yeah.
I will have to now declare Councillor Morris.
Thank you. This is 9.4.1, the awarding of its community grant for contribution to Gap 4 kitchen replacement. The recommendation in the business paper is that council approves a community grants and contributions program grant of $8,469.76 to Macquarie's Gap Hall Association Incorporated to undertake the replacement of the existing kitchen at Macquarie's Gap Hall. I have a mover, Councillor Bailey, and a seconder, Councillor Mahajan. Can't find their names on here. Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak for the motion?
Yeah, I'll speak for the motion. I think that's a really reasonable sum that they've requested. And given that they're going to, supply a lot of volunteer work to make that happen, is also a very positive aspect. As a member of another local hall at Wybong on the committee that's now non-existent, and going through quotes and processes to replace equipment. And I think they've done a really good job to actually get those things that are really to keep price and to buy their own labour. I would support the motion.
Thank you. Great. Anyone else like to speak to the motion? Anyone would like to speak against the motion? Okay, I now put the motion. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. I declare the motion carried. Bring council back in, please. Thank you.
Double deputy.
Okay, into the minutes of our committee meetings. Item 10, so 10.1, Aboriginal Reference Group. The recommendation in the business paper is that council notes the minutes of the meeting of the Aboriginal Reference Group held on 13 May 2026. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Hartley, a seconder. Councillor Mahajan. Any questions? That being the case, I'll put those. All those in favour? And against? Clear that carried. Thank you. 10.2, State Significant Development Committee, 14 July. The recommendation of the business paper is that council notes the minutes of the meeting of the State Significant Development Committee held on 14 July 26 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Hartley, a seconder. Councillor Ward. Anyone wish to be heard? Any questions? Okay. Put that. All those in favour? None against. Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10.3, the Finance and Governance Committee, also on 14 July 26. So the recommendation in front of you reads that council notes the minutes of the meeting of the Finance and Governance Committee held on 14 July 26 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. Have I a mover for that? Councillor Morris and Councillor Barry. Any questions? No questions? I'll put that. All those in favour? None against. Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. Community and Economy, 14 July. Recommendation in front of you reads that council notes the minutes of the meeting of the Community and Economy Committee held on 14 July 2026 and adopts the recommendations contained therein. Have I a mover for those minutes? Mover Councillor Morris, second Councillor Marshall. Anyone wish to be heard? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. There are no notices of motion. We do have a councillor report, and it's the report of myself and Councillor Hartley. You'll see the report and to read it out. It's just purely used for noting the information contained in the report to be noted. Someone want to move that way? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Hartley. Any questions on that report? Certainly quite a successful trip for us. All the motions that we took down there, both the council and the HJO, so the Hunter Joint Organisation, were all accepted. They weren't easily accepted, it would be fair to say. Not everyone shares the same view as we do on industry, jobs and mining in particular, particularly a lot of those councils who live closer to the ocean. Anyway, nonetheless, they were all adopted, which is certainly good news for us. Section 13 is written questions. There are no written questions. Questions for next meeting? Oh, sorry, I had a mover and a seconder for that. I didn't move it. I spoke, but didn't move it. This is in the report, the ALGA report. All those in favour? None against. Declare that carried. Thank you. We'll move on to questions for next meeting. I'll start on my left. Councillor Ward, Councillor Dunn, Councillor Mahajan, Councillor Marshall, Councillor McNeil. Oh, you're on mute. You must be on mute, Councillor McNeil. Your lips are moving, but there's no sound coming out.
Yeah, my apologies. I muted it after I had someone come into the room there earlier. Yeah, okay. So I provided some written questions that the General Manager has responded to, and I'd like to thank the General Manager for that response. But I just have some clarifying questions now in response to the General Manager's response. Number one was the location of the Liddell HB turbine. So just a question if we could get an update when that, as soon as that becomes available, in regard to that question and for that turbine. Number two, the request has been a little bit of a misinterpretation. The request for the housing of Liddell memorabilia was a request from ex-employees, not AGL, not the company itself. So my question is that, I guess, allowable for ex-employees to make such a request of council? And number three, let me find that question.
I'll let you number two. Yeah, absolutely, it's allowable. If it's through you, that's our job as councillor. If the community are coming to ask it, did you mean the housing of it, just the temporary housing? So of course they don't get lost or they don't get, we know where they are. Was it that housing?
Oh, it's exactly that. Well, it's the goal, the short-term goal, hopefully, or the short to medium-term goal, is to have them displayed for public appreciation. But yeah, there's a real risk of the items being misplaced, why they're stored as they are at the Bayswater Power Station. So if there could be either a temporary or permanent home, that would be a better situation than currently exists.
Okay, thanks.
The number three question was about public participation. the general manager has kindly responded to that as well, and sought advice. But given that this has already occurred, I would have thought that there was a process already available.
Sorry,
and
I
no-
can answer that, Councillor McNeil, as you go. There is a process available, and we've written to the organisation you talk about. The process is through a committee meeting, and you're asking for that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, those minutes go to council and either adopted or not adopted, which is the case. When there's nothing, when it's not on the agenda, it is down to the discretion of the mayor. But when it's not, and of course I haven't used that discretion because otherwise it might be the case where everyone who wants to talk at a council meeting without an issue in the business paper, we might still be here at 10 o'clock at night. So the forum is to address a committee meeting, of which I understand they've been informed that's the case some time ago.
Right, thank you. And just in response to the General Manager's response on number 4, the mental health, I do appreciate and accept and agree that council doesn't have a direct responsibility for mental health, but given or by virtue of the Local Government Act's requirement of council or council's obligation to do what's in the best interest of the community, both now and in the future, I would like to think that mental health would be an indirect responsibility of council because or by virtue of the act, and it would be prioritised accordingly. That's not really a question; it's a response, I guess. But thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. Council staff are preparing a response in relation to that, Councillor McNeil. There is a lot of work being done by Muswellbrook Shire Council across many areas of social justice, including domestic violence and assisting families, and we'll provide that response. We want to make it a fulsome response for councillors, and we'll provide that as soon as we can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Barry. Yes. Any questions next week? Councillor Morris.
Thank you. I was fortunate enough last week with Councillor Marshall to visit the new work at the number 1 pump station, and will compliment the council on the quality of work and their forecasted time for that thing to last. It did raise a question though with regards to the Denman facility, and if I could get a group of councillors to get a report for the next meeting on, especially with the new developments that are happening in Denman, with the new housing developments, what the timeline is, if any, that station might need to be upgraded, what the costs might be, what work might have already been done to that plant, and just a general overview of where we're at with that Denman facility, basically, because now that we know that there's going to be some significant development in Denman.
Thanks, Councillor Moss. Councillor Hutton. No. Councillor Foley. Just give a quick view of what some of the other things in the last few weeks. We don't do it to us. Since the last council meeting, we've met with the leader of the National Party, Gurmeet Singh, and our local member, David Lazelle, in regards to advocacy work leading into the state election. On the 9th of July, I attended the Maxwell Underground Mine opening. Half of Parliament were there. Tim Ayres, Yasmin Catley, Courtney Hughes, David Lazelle, Dean Rapicoli, Emily Savala, Merrill Swanson. I think that might be all of them. The 9th of July, so we had a meeting, and appropriate for Denman, we had a meeting with TOMRA. So we had 2 representatives from TOMRA. TOMRA are the organisation that do the recycling, the can and the bottle recycling, about the chance of getting one in Denman. They didn't agree to us that day that we would get one in Denman, but I think we're closer now than we probably ever have been. Certainly the meeting was very positive. They actually left that meeting and come and visited the site we highlighted in Denman. On their way, 14th of July, so on the 14th of July, we had Ministers Paul Scully, the State Planning Minister, and Minister Tim Ayres, the Federal Minister for Industry. We had them for a couple of days in town. On the 15th of July, we met with the Shadow Minister for Water, Steph Cook, in regards to some national water grid funding. You might be aware of the $9 million grant we had for the Demonson Yellow pipeline on top of what we already had. It was a federal government grant that the government, well, they didn't abolish, they just didn't distribute any of that money in the last federal budget. That means everyone who was in for an application missed out. So we're well, we're not taking that for an answer, I guess. We're still chasing that $9 million, and we'll continue to do that, of course. The HVOs on the 22nd of July, I represented council and the community, spoke at the Hunter Valley operations, the submission, so the hearing, submission in regards to the approval of that mine. And then we had only recently, and I will try and organise it for all councillors, we had a tour of the hospital, so the new hospital facility. Careful what I say because I'm recorded. It's a fantastic facility. Let's hope we can fill it up with medical professionals. That's all. But certainly it's a pretty special facility up there at the hospital. And as late as the last couple of days, I've been down to the pit on ABC Your Say. It's a program that the ABC Live. And this morning, or today, I've attended the Hunter Business 140th Hunter Business celebration today at Newcastle Racecourse. That's a brief overview of what we've been up there the last few weeks. We're now adjourned into closed council. Can I have someone move that way? Councillor Marshall, Councillor Dunn, all those in favour? Declare that carried. We'll now, you can turn the recording off and we ask. Motion.
Is it right? Yeah.
You're
Second place, council resolutions, council resolved on 16.1 contract 2025-2026 0707 demolition of buildings 30 Brook Street, Muswellbrook, and 116 Bridge Street, Muswellbrook. The recommendation endorsed by council is that Council 1 accepts the tender submitted by Prudem Proprietary Limited, trading as Precision Demolition Services for contract 2025-2026 0707 demolition of buildings at 30 Brook Street and 116 Bridge Street, Muswellbrook, for the lump sum of $434,000 exclusive to GST. And 2, delegates to the General Manager authority to enter into a contract for the demolition of buildings 30 Brook Street and 116 Bridge Street. 16.2 is contract 2024-2025 0657 water treatment plant filter refurbishment works. Recommendation endorsed by council is that 1, notes the information contained in the report. 2, supports the proposed reallocation of funding as described. 3, in accordance with clause 166A of the Local Government General Regulation 2021, delegates authority to the General Manager to invite tenders before entering into a contract by the open tendering method. And 4, includes in the scope of works the refurbishment of all 3 filters. 16.3 is contract 2025-2026 0712 Muswellbrook Marketplace fire compliance rectification works. So council has accepted or adopted that 1, accepts the tender submitted by Wormald Australia Proprietary Limited for contract 2025-2026 0712 Muswellbrook fire compliance rectification work, Muswellbrook Marketplace fire compliance rectification works for the lump sum of $158,475 exclusive of GST, subject to the successful negotiations regarding the provision of the WHS requirements, insurance works, and finalisation of contract departures. And 2, delegates to the General Manager authority to enter into a contract